gone to Bank twice and once to Consulate. Where will we end up for our fourth and final matchup? Are we going to see a possible repeat, or are we going to go somewhere new? Well, it's Villa and Bank that are banned out this time around. So you've got this middle spread here, and we'll find out as Pain Gaming will ban first.
Consulate goes, so no repeat of the last match that we just saw. Border as well. Villa is auto banned, so we're not going to see that come in. Clubhouse and Oregon are the last two options. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Clubhouse. No. Coastline also gone, and pardon me, there were 3 open. It's going to be Oregon. So I was wrong entirely.
That's okay. At least you didn't say speakin'.
Speaking. We speaking well.
And not like I'm speaking here like, hey, you know, like I'm the one speaking right now. I said, you know, we've spoken about this before.
Well, that would be speaking.
It's up there with when I said that they speak American.
I mean, that's a thing. That's an actual meme, though.
They speak English.
Yeah, but American English.
Oregon, speaking of America.
Melee.
Speaking of America, Oregon, Michael.
Color cooler.
Community vote time.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Get under my skin.
Let's see where you guys are thinking is going to win.
This is a pretty close one, I gotta say. Immortals is going to take that 58%. Okay, that's a little interesting. I would have suspected that to actually be higher, in all honesty.
I mean, they are in second place right now, so yeah, I would have expected the same. They also won their last 2 matches, so yeah, I would have expected the same. Pain Gaming, on the other hand, they've been very hit and miss, simply put. They sometimes win, they sometimes lose, they sometimes draw. They've been all over the place. So you're dealing with the consistency of a team that's managed to make their way into second place and the inconsistency of a team that's kind of just the median. Don't know. Could go either way.
I think this is going to be a test for Immortals. Are they really on the upward swing? This is a match, on paper. They are the favorites, I would say.
Yeah.
The community vote seems to think they're favorites. Statistically, they're the favorites. In terms of the landscape of Pro League, this should be a match that they can put in their win column if everything goes according to plan, as we've seen over the last couple games, and in general how they've played so far this season. Obviously, not a sure bet. Liquid should have beat Black Dragons on paper, but they drew. You know,
yeah.
NIP should have lost in their matchup, you know, to Boot Camp on paper, but they won. So there's no real certainty here. So it's very possible that we could see a 6-0 from Pain, for example. Oregon is going to be interesting because Oregon tends to be a mixed bag for a lot of teams. The stronger team does not always win Oregon, more so than I think a lot of other maps. A lot of it goes down to operator bans, and a lot of it goes down to the way that teams tend to play Oregon. Now, Oregon also happens to be one of the few maps that there's a significant drop-off after the first 2 bomb sites, which hurts teams, typically, that tend to do well on defense because they're forced to go for at least 1 round to a site that you don't really want to go to. And a key component of the way that you play Oregon is that it's also very susceptible to rush strategies. Finka, Sledge, Blitz, Lion, Dokkaebi, etc. Well, would you look at that? The first 2 bans are both Lion and Blitz. So trying to slow down the pacing here, still obviously possible for a rush strat, but you take 2 pretty annoying operators that I think a lot of teams have to deal with, and they don't particularly like dealing with, especially on Oregon, and now they're gone.
Echo going to have a full, but actually it's Echo and Clash for every single defensive ban so far today. We haven't seen any variance there whatsoever. Lion banned for 3 of the 4 matches total, and Blitz his first ban today.
Like I said, Blitz and Lion are very annoying to deal with on Oregon, so it doesn't surprise me that we'd see them get taken out, especially Blitz, who has the 2nd highest pick rate. You know, these are the 2 highest ban rates of any attacking operator in the region. It makes sense that we would see them banned on Oregon. Blitz sees so much play, traditionally, in Latin America on this map. He works well on most sites. He can be a particular nuisance, especially downstairs on Laundry Supply Room. Lion single-handedly pushed Laundry Supply Room from being the favored defender site upstairs to the dorms, all because of the way his gadget worked. So it's always interesting to see the way that these play out.
It certainly is. Valkyrie shotgun once more. We saw this on Bank earlier today. It was very useful considering the Habana ban, but definitely an interesting pick for anywhere else. The thing about that shotgun is it really does drop off pretty heavily at range. It's a pretty substantial fire rate, but that damage drop-off means that you're only lethal to a certain extent, and there are usually other options, better options than bringing that shotgun if you want to be lethal at close ranges. Like Ella, for example, just to name one. Cav, even, if you don't. If you think you can make it work. Her pistol does 99 damage, and it's lethal. It's pretty much hard to lose up to about 7 to 8 meters. But whatever. The case, we have a shotgun. Cyber's going to be working his way aggressively into the main lobby, and he's already in kitchen trying to deal with these roamers downstairs. Hit by the Legion Trap's going to slow down his push quite a bit. That Legion Trap, of course, being so very powerful. GCR is going to take out Navi's as he attempts to challenge from the... Wow, a double down for the Sledge. No hammer kill, but he will get the double kill in eventually. And that was a great distraction by Navi's, if nothing else. FK also doing some damage from above, trying to take out any potential attackers through these pre-placed murder holes, but not able to make anything happen.
Interesting start here for both teams, losing the heavy utility of the Ying, and Cyber almost going down as well. Still a pretty big advantage in favor of Immortals for the time being, and they do have the clock on their side. There's still over half of the round left to go. So a very fast pace that gets set. So even though I said that with both Lion and Blitzband, it'll be to try to slow this game down, well, it's not exactly working out, I think, as they had planned so far.
Certainly not. Spawn's trying to challenge from a long angle using his Deagle, and he's going to hit a shot, I think, but not actually get the kill.
I think he hit Diogo, and I mean, look at that. Almost 50 damage done to the Zofia in one shot from the Wandi, as they often get called.
Yeah, but no kill. That's ultimately what you wanted to accomplish with that. Interesting that you're going to have Valkyrie try to play off the camera that Valkyrie threw outside when it doesn't have the SMG. Usually you'd play a different player in that position, but not so here for Pain.
Good flank potential set up. You've got the Jaeger in the power position inside of Kid's Dorms, and then above you've got the Bandit playing, watching all the way in towards Closet. As the generator wall is gone, spawns a great C4 kill onto Yuke, and then one will fall as well. The MP7 of Revolts putting in good work. Diffuser is down by the generator wall. Inside a Closet, one of Cyber and Diogo will have to retrieve it, but neither are particularly primed to do so. So this could possibly just be a frag or nothing situation. And that's what Diogo's read appears to be. Shoot through the mattress by the main window as Revolts is just right now sitting, or prone rather, underneath the window. An ADS in front will mean that any possible disruption that goes through from Zofia will be caught, and there you go, there's one, but there will be room for the third. Oh, there you go, another ADS, and finally it will get Revolts, and he'll be able to outduel Diogo. It's just Cyber left, and well, he's got the shotgun and can't engage at such a long range. Interesting to see two shotguns, one on attack and one on defense there. That Sledge obviously going for the close range play, Michael, and not really paying off. Pain will take round number one on a pretty good hold upstairs on Dorms.
Certainly looked like a round that Immortals should have won after Navi's was allowed to get that double kill inside of Kitchen, but not so in the end. Or actually, pardon me, Cyber on the Sledge. Either way, Pain playing it well, good recovery. A lot of that goes to Spawn's able to C4 the player pushing in through Master Hallway. If he hadn't C4'd that player, then he would have had to rotate from a different location. And if he weren't able to take control of Attic, he wouldn't have been able to deny the push from the main hallway in the later part of the round. Because of that, the last Immortals players were forced to just push from what they had available to them, which was not really much from that hallway window and main west window.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
It's going to be a basement defense next for Pain. Stands to reason. Oregon, one of those maps that really only has 2 bomb sites and then 2 something else.
2 something else. You won't even call them bomb sites, eh?
I mean, they're really bad. Both tower and kitchen are abysmal to hold.
I mean, I feel like we've seen more teams successfully holding them so far this season than we've seen attacker victories.
We definitely have been seeing them. I mean, held quite a lot. I don't know if we can say more successful defenses than attacks, but you can practice them to the extent at which they are viable. The issue isn't that they're necessarily not viable. It's just they're really bad to defend. You have to go out of your way to adjust your strategy. And yeah, sure, that's fine. That's competitive Siege in a nutshell. I recognize that. But I almost feel like there's some advantages given to the attackers on both kitchen and tower that just cannot be fixed by any measure of adaptation from the defense. On your kitchen defense, that little indestructible wall that creates the kind of island that the attackers can operate around just inside of Junk Tower. That's too easy to plant behind, and you need certain tools to deny a defuse plant there that can easily be denied. You can just ban those tools out. Navi's will get the first kill onto GCR. That's the Legion gone. A very bad operator to lose early on for defense, as he will not generate traps anymore. And
he was also somebody that was very, he was very important for Pain. He got the very first kill last time around. He was anchoring downstairs, just making sure that nobody could push in and take an extra bit of map control away, especially when you can put, a potential body underneath dorms. But a belated refrag onto Diogo, who was one of the last members of Immortals alive. 5 of those explosives, 2 in terms of destruction and 3 in terms of concussive, will be gone as the Zofia will not be up for Immortals. You have to wait for the teal operator to come back in a minute and a half. First logic bomb will go down and keep everybody in place, but there will be no capitalization off of it. FK1 in a particularly bad spot up top in dorms. He'll have to fight his way out. He gets droned, and it looks like there will be possibly 1 member coming up at him. Looks like 2 for the time being. Another logic bomb, and there goes FK1. He'll go for the long sprint over towards tower, be detected briefly, but he has an opportunity to go through and run FK run. He'll just narrowly miss out on some pressure inside a meeting hall. They'll tussle, and his phone is still just going away, but can he be able to get this duel? No, he can't. Navi's is there, and it's a double up, and that'll be 1 member of the Roam gone, but that just killed 40 seconds off the time. Good job from the Jaeger.
He also managed to do a lot of damage to Navi's. Possibly a reset will come down, but with still a little time, might be better just to attack the site with what you have on hand. Now, Spawn's looking to open up the angle for a C4. NXT playing on the mirror window. It's an oddly set up mirror window, different than what you usually see, but still viable. He will be flashed out while playing it, though, and forced back a little bit. Smokes are going to be the main pivot point for the attack. They need that to cover their defuse plant. Shotgun comes out from NXT. He's going to land the shots, but not able to do enough damage to get a kill. Yuke gets a kill, but Cyber team kills before taking out Revolts, leaving 9XT in a 1 versus 2. Diffuser planted, and from behind, Cyber is going to have a great advantage here, and he will finally get that kill. Immortals take the round, and we put ourselves in a 1-1.
Diffuser goes down as well, so it was full control for Immortals there, and not really a second look from Pain Gaming after they did I would say a pretty good job at the start. They lost the Legion, but I think they bounced back, taking out Diogo. Then they were able to kill the timer all the way down to 45 seconds before we could really see Immortals move on the execute. Now, the one thing that Laundry Supply Room has going for it is that executes can come pretty quickly, as long as you can make it so that Mira can't really peek from behind that Mira window, which, by the way, strange to say that we're now in our 4th match of the day and Mira hasn't been banned once. That's a bit peculiar. I think don't quote me on this, but I can't remember another day of Pro League since bans came that Mira has been completely unbanned for all 4 maps. So
I don't either.
Back to the olden days. But anywho, as long as you can pin down the defenders quite well on Laundry Supply Room, which is possible with hatch control, smokes, and disruption, be it from a Zofia, be it from a Lion, possibly be it from a Dokkaebi with a logic bomb, from Kappa Tau with his fire arrows, etc. If you can zone out the defenders, you can pull off an execute with only 10 seconds to go on Laundry Supply Room, and providing there's no yokai drone or no C4, it's very winnable for the attackers. Now, obviously, there's more to it than just that, but we just saw Immortals manage to pull off a pretty quick plant, despite the fact that Pain had wasted, a 5/6 of the round and caused Immortals to have to rush. So, overall, I think that was a round that Pain could have possibly walked away from, but it was played very well by IMT.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I like the operator selection here from Pain. They've got the Valkyrie information, something that I think has been really important but not utilized properly by most teams today, is the appearance of Valkyrie. Revolt's putting down the IU jammer. It looks like it's going to be Construction Rush from Immortals. Has not been detected seemingly yet by Pain. Phone call is going to possibly give away intentions, but Navi's is already in. Revolt with a double kill and a triple for him. He's not able to win the fight against Navi's thanks to that shotgun, but the damage is done. Navi's on 1 bullet's worth of HP, and Diogo, the only other attacker, who misses an opportunity in the main lobby. Navi's not going to eat any damage from that, but he will still be very lit up. Diogo able to get his first kill. Candelas are going to maintain control over this site, but what is it really going to matter in the end? The diffuser is still down, and Pain are swarming around it. Spawn's pushing his way towards the closet. He's at a disadvantage here, but the HP from Navi's possibly going to give him the edge. Pre-fire from 9XT, finally able to finish off that Ying. Diogo now the final attacker, and he'll just be working his way from tower stairs. This is certainly winnable. 1 versus 2, not a very established defense right now. GCR's Lesion Traps are going to be one of the most influential things on the outcome of this round, however. And if Zofia is not able to detect them properly, then it will very likely be a Pain round. No matter what, though, it's a 2 versus 1, and it's going to be hard for him as soon as he actually gets into the fight.
And it looked like they put down a Mira finally inside of that closet, completely unreinforced. I don't think Pain was anticipating a rush that early, as they hadn't really done full site construction. There's no rotate in that soft wall in towards Laundry. There's no Mira window that until we saw right there at the very end. So interesting to say the least. The back is not set up either. I don't know what they were anticipating here, but oh, Diogo comes so close to taking out the Mira, but it's a C4 that will be his undoing. Pain managed to hold on after a very quick rush from Immortals, and honestly, so much of that falls onto the mute. That was incredible. The play that went into keeping that alive, the 3K and a triple kill technically, as all 3 of them came within a couple seconds of each other, completely neutered the push from Immortals.
Absolutely right. While it was recovered in the end, it was not enough damage done. So, top floor once more for the defense. They were successful on their first attempt here, and the site has finally unlocked, which is going to allow Pain to go right back there. In terms of a defensive half so far for Pain, it has gone perfectly. It's all right to lose one of the defenses on these go-to sites, because if you do lose one of your defenses on the go-to sites and then win the next attempt, then that just means you don't have to go tower or kitchen. So, you know, I feel like losing some holds, some defenses on Oregon, kind of a foregone conclusion, and doesn't really matter where you lose them to an extent. Of course, would be best to just win everything, but with the tightness of the competition at this level of play, unlikely to happen. Top floor, though, looked pretty good for Pain last time they were here. They lost 2 players extremely early on, and they still managed to recover the round. So, bodes well that they would put themselves in a 3-1 lead, and then they would get to go back to, well, actually, then if they do that, they're actually going to have to go to kitchen or tower. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see this go 3-2. Maybe Pain Gaming will surprise us and bring it 4-1. Or maybe this will go 3-2 in the opposite direction. Who knows? You know, you only predict so much based on what we've seen so far.
Speculating is a lot of fun.
It is.
Don't get me wrong. I think both these teams have done quite a good job, and I think, honestly, I was surprised that Immortals went for broke as early on as they did. Typically, that's not a strategy that you use in you know, the second or third round. Usually, you typically try to wait till the end here. But, I mean, at that point, I think they realized that this might be our final crack at Laundry Supply Room. And, I mean, they were technically correct. Laundry and Supply Room will not be back on the board. So, as you noted, going upstairs, it will either be a tower or kitchen if this does prove to be quite successful from the defenders. And there goes an exothermic charge. Things will get opened wide up. Yuke will be going with the Ying, but we'll be going with the LMG this time around. We will see no shotgun. Doing the best hungry impression from EU, widely considered to be not just one of only the Yings in Pro League who uses a shotgun, but possibly the best. It was very
Definitely
close.
up there.
I mean, it was very close from Immortals there, and it was unfortunate that Diogo was caught in that 1v2, which was, like you said, it was very winnable, and Zofia is stocked to the gills, or with all the different gadgets she has. She's usually the Swiss Army knife. She has 4 separate advantages. Spawns as the Valkyrie reads the cameras and sees that there's a run-out potential, but there's a great C4 that's placed by Uke, and it will blow her wide up. And Diogo getting a kill on a GCR. That's the Legion downstairs. Default cam is still up. He'll perish just by the bathroom.
Yeah. Claymores have been actually pretty useful so far today. Sometimes we have whole days where Claymores don't get a kill, but they seem to be in the forefront here. Candelas from Uke are going to disrupt this hold, and he gets an easy melee kill onto 9XT, and then a follow-up onto FK1. Navi's his teammate able to get the final kill, and Immortals with a very succinct rush into the site to get the round. And we go to 2-2. Now, because of this, Pain is going to be able to defend the top floor once more, but it is now their final attempt at defense. And they're going to be put in a position to decide whether or not they take this half. Immortals has won one attack onto the top floor and lost one, so this could go either way.
Overall, a very fast execute that was pulled off by Immortals there, and I don't think Pain anticipated the crush that they were going to get as quickly as it came. So, Dorms went so well for Pain the first time around, in particular the way that they were able to get that pivotal kill with the Valkyrie playing downstairs with the shotgun, which I think Spawns has run the Spaz every single time that we've seen so far. So interestingly enough, the Spaz 12 hasn't really been able to accomplish as much as I think either Sexy Cake or we saw from Spawns playing off, and who knows. At some point, meta's shift. Is the MPX going to be dropped in favor of the shotgun? Valkyrie, particularly good at going for the runouts and taking long-range fights, even though the MPX does minimal damage. You can usually reliably land a headshot or two. It's a good kill, and that's part of the power of the Valkyrie cameras, to have that information to be able to go for the vault outs. But with a shotgun, obviously, a little bit more difficult because you're playing a little closer. So, anywho. Back upstairs to dorms, and this is pretty similar from what we see from most teams here. There will be no hard breach denial, no bandit or no mute, so they'll go with the pulse to play below, and then Spawns will double up on the C4. Those will be the 2 explosives on Pain's side of things, and likely have GCR try to do some map control from below, as you saw before, but Immortals were, systematic in being able to take him out.
Yeah, the pulse could influence the round, though. We'll see. Depends on how Immortals choose to clear it. Looks like they're going to be focusing on taking out Kitchen once more. Jackal's going to be able to do this solo, as he's got that ability to track his opponents. Good advantage to have, but there's 2 downstairs in the kitchen. The Legion and the Pulse both. And you're going to have to contest with them. Navis will be droning in Cyber, and the information is now abundant for Cyber. He has detection on one and information on the other based on the drone, but it doesn't look like he's keen to make a play right this minute. Possibly waiting for his teammates to be in a better position to support him or refrag him should he die.
And Cyber still the focal point here of Pain Gaming, as they've got both the Pulse and the Legion downstairs waiting. A bit of a fake out as Cyber does descend down the stairs, but will come right back up. And there you will see part of the meeting hall control that Pain was trying to just simply hold off by existing inside a kitchen is gone, taken away from them from the breaching round of Ash. Navis will open up the wall inside a pantry, and there you saw both the Legion as well as the Pulse decide to rotate. You've still got the Jackal playing the long game here. Ping's coming out, possibly trying to bait this Jackal in, and he'll get caught looking the wrong way. Great job from Cyber, and he'll go for a reflexive second shot, anticipating Navi's pushing up, and oh, GCR just right now unable to be flushed out by Immortals. What a play, and he'll take down 2 very strong members of Immortals. Still, smokes available for Immortals in Uke's hand, but there's utility that's gone from the board.
A third for GCR, peeking onto Diogo inside a cafeteria. FK1, his support, will get taken out, but a 4K for the Legion, and it's all up to Uke. Spawns trying to hold on and get his team the ace, but he cannot do anything about Uke's positioning, and Pain will take the round thanks to GCR's excellent play.
Overall, good hold, and man, that Legion who died early on in the previous round was just considerably more fearsome this time. just running all over, and it came very close to losing his head in the very first engagement between him and the Jackal, but Cyber was unable to land the shots, and had he, the round could have potentially played out in a very different way.
I feel overall the scoreline, though, does reflect typical Oregon. I think most halves end 3-2. No matter whose favor it is, just because of the way the bomb sites work. Very
close. And I anticipate we'll see something similar, this time around as well. I would be very shocked if we end up in a position where
we have a sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I think you're absolutely correct about the way that Oregon plays out. So.
Well, it's going to be basement first for Immortals, where we saw Payne go to the top floor. Immortals will go to the bottom. A little bit different. Not really, though. I mean, it's Oregon, guys.
I mean, Oregon is very, very played out, and typically, it's what's the saying go? It's not necessarily a 1 and 2 style deal. It's more like a 1A, 1B kind of deal. Some teams seem to do quite well on dorms upstairs.
Yep.
Dorms is one of the few sites in the game, as you've mentioned many times, that if it's a 2vx, that it's still very winnable for the defenders that are playing upstairs, just simply because of the way that teams have to attack the dorms. They can be...
The power positions are so powerful.
Yes, and it's very obvious when you see good teams do it, especially with a good smoke play. I mean, that was obviously before the SMG-11 was changed around, so there's obviously a difference there. But it's very different from... laundry room, supply room, which because of the fact that so much of laundry supply room is unbreakable, it's very difficult for you to possibly escape when the attackers push in on you.
Yeah. Well, we've had Smoke still see a lot of play regardless of the SMG change, but a significantly less consistent fragger as an operator.
Absolutely.
Yeah. FK1 eating some damage. He's going to start working his way towards the meeting hall. He will open up this wall, hence the pre-plays Claymore, or possibly just leave it intact. I mean, if he's not planning on pushing into meeting hall, it's better to leave it intact and just move on with your life. Either way, he has taken control of kitchen and that rotation should it be opened up late. GCR late opening or clearing out west. It's kind of odd that they're doing this so delayed. Cyber will run out of tower to take out Jackal. That is probably thanks to the Valkyrie cam that was placed on that little metal roof outside. Cyber will be reset after that run out.
Unless I'm incorrect, he was detected for a very, very long time. And, the whole burst outside, amazingly, that there wasn't any call out there to possibly catch him at all.
He was running out on somebody, I think, that was detected by a Valkyrie cam, which is what allowed him to commit to that run out. But ultimately, yeah, it was a big risk. Surprised it worked out for him. Now he's going to move back upstairs, and he will take out 9XT, his second victim. All three of the attackers coming from the main lobby. Yuke will shut one down. Cyber gets his third, and Navi's shut down. And what a shot from GCR. Absolutely on fire in this match. So he's looking for 3 more.
Both GCR and FK1 have been people who we've seen be able to do great work, not just on Payne, but when they were also known as YAG Gaming. And if you allow them to, they can take over. GCR will need an ace, as you denoted, 2 kills, but Cyber doing so well himself, being able to get a load of kills in this round. I believe that's a 4K that the Jaeger will walk away with. Whoa! Right through the wall!
Oh, there's a Valkyrie cam.
And he was getting that information, and we don't see pings in replays, but overall, what a performance from the Jaeger, just continuing to do what he does. We're tied up.
I was really confused about that kill for a second, and then remembered, yeah, they put a Valkyrie cam inside a meeting hall. Good teamwork there from Immortals, and big props to Cyber just running out, getting a kill, running back in, reset, running back up, getting 3 more kills. Overall, the defense was a little bit strangled. They were heavily focused on that meeting hall, but because Cyber was fragging out, it ultimately didn't matter. Surprised how little damage was done by the glass in the meeting hall entrance. When we saw the smoke was down, that should have been a pretty advantageous position to just wreak some havoc and get some kills, but not enough, so. 3-3 now, top floor, next bomb site. We have yet to see an off-site played, as neither team has been able to streak away on defense.
Upstairs we go. Lots of plant denial for Immortals here. 2 sets of C4. Impacts if need be. We haven't really seen a lot of impact tricking. We actually haven't seen a lot of extensive thermite play today. On Bank, he was available both times. We saw a lot of teams, most of the teams, run both a thermite and a Hibana until Hibana got banned in that second matchup. Thermite was banned on Consulate, so not really much of a need on impact tricking here. And on Consulate in general, it's not really a lot of walls for you to impact trick on. It's been strange.
We saw him a lot in the boot camp versus NIM match, which was the first of the day, but he wasn't amazingly useful, especially on a map like Bank. I mean, he's great on Bank, but he didn't see play that much in that match in particular.
Diogo being given a gift from the heavens.
Yep.
He'll need to get reset. He'll walk away with 2 or 3 HP. That's it. Talk about fortune. Buy yourself a lottery ticket. Those are not the kind of odds you usually see, but possibly been traded off, as Death always gets the last laugh, and he'll find Cyber. The Maestro will just tear right through the wall as FK1 was trying to do some work inside of Armory, and you can say goodbye all the way down, and now GCR inside of Armory will have to be next one up, so if he can find the Maestro. But losing the Zofia means that the deployable shield will likely remain safe unless a frag grenade gets used from GCR. He'll step in a goo mine for his troubles and have to pull it out, as we'll also see that closet wall get blown open into Generator.
It's a good amount of control right now for Pain, and because of Diogo's lack of HP, this does look like a Pain round right now, though it's all going to come down to that push in the end. Navi's playing a very tight angle, thanks to that shield, into the main hallway. He can single-handedly deny the push from the main hallway. He's got an LMG, so he doesn't even need to worry about smoke, and because there's no glass, it's a one-way engagement, I think, for the defender as soon as that smoke cover comes down. Revolt's trying to deny any potential electronics inside a Generator by throwing an EMP in Classroom. It's not likely to get very much, but possibly a Lesion Trap or 2.
Oh no, it looks like that Lesion Mine might have gone through the hole in the floor. Navi's a beautiful shot on the spawns, as Generator very exposed, and Pain are going to find themselves at the mercy of the clock. Though Navi's drops and tries to get back to site, Revolts will pick up 2, and that's easy for the Thatcher as it's a 2v3. Pain Gaming very quickly regains the lead in terms of man count. Yuke just watching Generator for a second there. He will see the Hibana of 9XT peek in, but can only get a shot off onto the elbow, which is very minimal damage for the Hard Breacher. Yuke will finally finish off 9XT, so he'll peek again, and that means that Diogo will just watch from the kids' dorms side of things. If somebody does decide to vault in, that'll be the Sledge. He'll miss the shots onto GCR. Sees him a second time around, but the SMG-11 cannot connect. Peeks around widely, and Diogo will get the kill. And Yuke is there to greet one, goes for the second, but Diogo finishes it off, and Immortals takes what could have been a round that Pain was able to walk away with, and they'll hold on. And this is what I said, even if it's a 2vx, still capable of winning this. Something that you said ages ago, and that just shows why. It's very easy for them to funnel in and get caught in the crossfire established by the defenders. Yeah,
that scenario that we just saw play out is one of the most time-tested ones that we've seen. It's like old Clubhouse when defending the basement. Pre-rework, you could not roam on that basement hold. People tried and failed many times. But, yeah, it played out as exactly as it should, I suppose, in that situation. Though I have to say, that round to me was just a great example of why you bring a Thermite if you're attacking through Master. You need to open up a hole that's big enough to really work with. The reason that the push from Generator was denied was almost solely because you had to crouch your way through. Just too slow in a high action situation like that. It allowed for 2 easy kills as the attackers attempted to push in Generator. Pain Gaming struggling there. Immortals never let go of that hole that Hibana made. They were constantly holding it throughout the round. Even after they lost all of their off-site players who were attempting to flank, they still had one person watching.
I mean, at that point, as Pain, you can't rotate towards the double window, which is an opportunity for you to maybe pressure somebody inside of dorms. You don't have control of White Stairs at all, which is where we saw, you know, Yuke lying as the Lesion. So you have what? You can try to go through the Generator hole, or you can push through Armory towards the doorway, both of which are narrow avenues towards the site, and both very easy for you to take advantage of.
So, tower. Of course, the two sites, tower and kitchen, are equally viable, and it's 2A, 2B if the main sites of basement and top floor are 1A, 1B. And just comes down to preference, really. The setup so far from Immortals looks sensible, though it's hard to say, really, on a site like this. They have a huge emphasis on this top floor, as you can see with the shield and everything being set up. Of course, that is very important. If the attackers are able to isolate the very topmost floor, then the tower is essentially lost.
The only real way that we've seen teams contend against that is playing with an ACOG from below through holes that are opened up ahead of time in the floor. I mean, it does look like there were some holes opened up at the very top, so that is a possibility, but as you can note from Immortals lineup, there's no ACOG on the board, so they're going to be at the mercy of the single one-time scopes that are brought out from their 5 operators. Navi's, who was holding an angle inside of Meeting Hall, trying to waste as much time as possible, will get drone down, and after missing the drone, realize it's probably a smart idea to fall off. You also hear the Valkyrie camera that was inside of Attic that was possibly going to be giving information for Immortals late into the round. Well, it's not going to be doing much now as it gets shot out. You see the Valkyrie go back on the cams for just a second, and we can tell that Cyber playing downstairs in Laundry, possibility for a flank, and that's likely where we're going to see unless there's a C4 toss when that Valkyrie is able to get back to the main floor. Pain looking to try to take control of Meeting. They had the Hibana as well as the Zofia focused on that, and a grenade from Diogo will take about half of his HP off as we hit the final minute.
It's been one of the slowest rounds we've seen so far in this match, and doesn't really look like Pain have as much control as they are hoping for. Immortals still in great position to hold on to this tower. Meeting Hall has been lost, but what does it really matter at this point with the current setup? Diogo's going to get downed, and he will attempt to fall back. FK will take down one who attempts to push it towards Meeting Hall. The diffuser is being planted right now, and it will not be denied by Navi's, nor will he be able to get the frag on the diffuse planter himself, who falls back into Meeting Hall. Spawn's in a great position to deny rotations just outside of the tower doorway, and FK1 also in a great position to deny rotations. It's all up to Yuke, and he's not going to be able to make it work. And the typical loss of tower defense plays itself out.
When it rains, it pours. And you see that there on tower. Tower typically tends to go 2 ways. Number 1, it's very quick, it's very brutal, and it's over. Or number 2, it goes down to the dying seconds, and then it's an absolute slaughterhouse. And that's exactly what we saw 5 members of Immortals dying within a very short span of time. And there was one impactless frag that was picked up by Yuke, but other than that, it was basically perfect from Pain. You know, we saw a number of Immortals fall off very early on. The Valkyrie downstairs didn't prove to be much of an asset at all. The Legion fell off and dropped through Meeting Hall and tried to get back to site as quickly as they could, but it also didn't really have much purpose whatsoever as the plant went down, and I don't think the Legion knew that the diffuse was going off in that position and that the wall was blown wide open. I think it was the right call to read that after the plant went down, should the plant be going down, that the Hibana would pop back up and head in towards the Meeting Hall doorway, but with the wall open up, she didn't need to do that. So Immortals unable to hold on as the whirlwind of Pain rolled through tower, and that will be it. However, it does unlock Laundry and Supply Room, and Immortals will be gifted with a more robust site. Now, we move to match point after this round, which means that no matter what happens, we will likely see either Laundry Supply Room a second time, or we'll go upstairs to dorms as it will unlock after this one as well. So at least Immortals has 2 good defensive sites in their pocket for the next 2 rounds, but we'll see what Pain can bring up. You mentioned that there wasn't much Glaz play being brought. Well, if you take a look,
What?
You mentioned earlier on that
Glaz was played quite a lot today?
No, in this match.
Oh.
You mentioned earlier on that there wasn't a lot of Glaz that we were seeing on Oregon in particular. It wasn't something they were going to have to worry about, and expecting the spawn peak, Navi's will just narrowly miss and nobody from Pain will take any damage. Yeah, you'd said at Oregon that
I believe you.
Yeah, you said at Oregon, I don't know, it was like 2-3 rounds ago when it was playing upstairs on dorms that, you know, there was no Glaz that was getting played from either teams to have to worry about. So anyway, so we finally see a Glaz emerge, this time from Pain Gaming, as it's very early on. And you can see that Pain holding upstairs inside a kitchen, which is pretty typical for Laundry Supply Room. They're also right now you see that Immortals heavily invested in Meeting Hall. So you've got your pretty typical off-site play right now, likely with a drop opened up, and there you go. You can see it for Immortals to drop at any point.
FK has eaten quite a lot of damage, but so has Cyber. So it's just an even exchange and stall. Both teams, given the closeness of this match, seem to not want to risk anything unnecessarily, which is reasonable, although overcautious. Spawn's droning out that Meeting Hall looking for a target all the way from White Stairs, but there's nobody to capitalize on the information that he's doling out. So this is effectively wasted utility. GCR, though, will make me eat my words as he takes out Cyber on the sandbags. He's also going to be able to do a lot of damage from the attic if he continues to contest that Meeting Hall. One with a pretty standard Valkyrie cam on the little light towards the main lobby will be able to call out 4 attackers' positions, which means there's only 1 left unknown. Good information for Immortals, especially as we come down to the last minute. All they need to do now is deny the standard push-in through the main lobby into Laundry. FK1 will be reset and renewed.
As I said early on, once you're able to get the control that you need, you can get an execute off very quickly here, and I think Immortals are anticipating that as they start to line up. They've got Plant Denial and 2 C4s, they've got the Evil Eye, they've got the Toxic Babes from Diogo as well. So there's a lot in hand here for Immortals. 1 Babe goes down, and it looks like a second is going to get tossed out, and there we go, but timing is not necessarily in the side of those Toxic Canisters. There's still 30 seconds to go, and there's only 1 left. But Uke primed and ready with the explosive in hand to toss out the C4. Final smoke will go onto the bottom of the stairs. That toxic canister will choke, and Pain is really right now clustered up on top of that main hatch. Tons of flashes and smoke will go down, and here comes the drop, but pings will go out. Navi's gets the lead-off kill in the ensuing fray, and a second will be picked up as 9XT has to come off of a plant. Good idea. He'll pick up a kill with GCR in there as well, and Uke gets down, which is just all up to 1. 2 members from Pain. Plant going down. Can 1 get here in time? Goes for a spray through the wall, but Spawns will lock it down. And that will be the round for Pain. They'll move on to match point. And can we speak for just 1 second here? How good GCR has been so far today for his team. He has been absolutely pivotal to keep Pain in the running, picking up so many impact frags so far.
If it weren't for GCR, we certainly would have a very much one-sided match on our hands. So props to GCR for his performance, certainly. Now, we're going to the very last round, and Pain Gaming are the ones who are in the driver's seat. They have guaranteed a draw, if nothing else, which means Immortals cannot guarantee themselves, cannot get themselves 3 points, cannot guarantee themselves a playoff spot. They are not, in a position where they can stop sweating for the remainder of the season. Pain Gaming, they want to do as much damage as possible here, because in theory they could start climbing their way up to that top 2, although it's going to be narrow. I think they'd have to win all of their matches from here on out, so unlikely. However, they can still, keep themselves away from the bottom 2, and that's probably their current objective.
Yeah, I mean, for Pain Gaming, I think all they really need is 1 victory, and I think they're well within the realm of not being relegated. And I think that's a big weight off of their shoulders. And of course, they're going to try to play spoiler here to Immortals, who were gifted a victory earlier on by nature of Liquid tying, and they were looking to try to expand on that gap. At best, they can only match the point totals that we saw out of Liquid today, as both teams will only have 1 point at most. It even depends on whether Immortals will get that 1 point or not, as Pain Gaming have looked quite triumphant. And as I noted, Immortals did have the opportunity to go to the 2 best sites in the game, either on Laundry Supply Room or Dorms, and well, everything fell apart. It only took 10 seconds after that final toxic canister went down for Pain to sweep into the site and kill everybody from Immortals. Back downstairs to Laundry and Supply Room. For IMT in the final round of this matchup, it will be only the second one to go the full distance today, and it's going to be a similar look for Pain Gaming in terms of their lineup. But going against their favor is the fact that Cyber will get a very early kill. Only takes 40 seconds, and he manages to find the Zofia, and so long FK1.
That kill is substantial, considering how slow Pain have been with their attacks recently. They've been putting a big emphasis on clearing out the roamers, establishing control, and then executing in the dying seconds of the round. And when you're doing that strategy, it is much better to have extra manpower. It's the sort of strategy that in fact requires an abundance of manpower, because you're relying on refrag after refrag after refrag, which is what we saw in the last round. It came down to about the last 20, 30 seconds before they started their push, and then it was just a mess of kills, back and forth and back and forth. And Zofia, as an individual operator, excels in that environment. She's able to disrupt a number of opponents at once. And she's not going to have that utility available thanks to Cyber's aggression.
And it's really the only lockdown as well that's available. I mean, you can theorize that Glaz will be able to pin people down by nature of the fact that he can see through smoke. He does high damage. He's not somebody you really want to readily peek. But Zofia can quite literally keep you concussed and keep you from being able to fight back. But Revolts will burn a smoke early, trying to take care of Meeting Hall. And man, it sounds like Revolts under fire from the LMG. He'll see the Legion and so long Uke. Not exactly the wisest idea. Tons of gunfire as Cyber gets his second kill. Navi's is there. Cyber gets traded off by Revolts. The Glaz will just continue to push, and the rest of Immortals will head for the hills. They'll have to head back to the site, knowing the fact that it was only one that was positioned, and there can only be one. Final 30 seconds here is this looks like Immortals prime to tie it up. Revolt's very low on HP, and GCR, who has had a great game so far, will need to do an awful lot of heavy lifting. Revolts is only one shot away from most weapons from certain death, and with those walls still open, there's prime opportunity to try to cut down Immortals' push. But there goes Revolts. GCR comes in, tries to sweep in with the L85, but Navi's, who did so well there, will get the final kill, and that'll be Immortals tying. So, at very minimum, they'll walk away with 1 point, but obviously not the result that Immortals was hoping for, and Pain just falling short of being able to get the W.
Now, I don't think that that's going to kill Immortals' chances of making it to the playoffs. Of course, they're still going to be in second place, but it is going to significantly hurt it in the long run, as I feel as though this is one of those teams that they really should have been able to get a win